Oh, hello, and welcome to Fashion Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith, and I'm here as always with Marcy Carmack. Today we're at the New York Public Library. As always at Fashion Coffee Hour, our general thesis has emerged as our guest panelist over these last few months as the idea that fashion really brings beauty into the world, and fashion and beauty drive culture. And culture uplifts and elevates people spiritually, economically, and emotionally. So I can't think of a better place to be, Marcy, than in New York City today at the New York Public Library. Why don't you introduce the topic of Marc Jacobs while I cue up the video?
Marc Jacobs kicked off the return to Fashion Week in a real life form and not video. So everyone gathered and was very excited. There was a lot of energy, and he just knocked it out of the park.
And columnist Vanessa Friedman from the New York Times, I thought she framed it really in a lovely way, the idea that it's a transitional show, and not transitional like you might think of as summer to fall, but transitional in the idea that we're emerging from our cocooning, kind of hunkering into safety mode from the pandemic into this new period of emerging freedom and liberation. So I thought that was a fun thing to keep in mind. Nice way to frame the show. And you might keep that in mind as you watch this short runway at the New York Public Library as the models do emerge very cocooned, very ensconced with layers of puffy apparel, and they slowly discard and emerge in the second part of the show into a more liberated sense.
Butterfly.
Marcy and I both appreciated the space. Thought it was a lovely, lovely setting. I'll have comments on that. The music, I particularly enjoyed. Marcy found it a bit daunting, but I found it hauntingly lovely. So we'll take a look at the show now. Marcy will give us some commentary.
So I was immediately excited to see the library. I mean, it just really brought back great memories.
And Marcy, the New York Public Library is often the site of New York Fashion Week and runway shows. Is that correct?
Not New York Fashion Week, but runway shows, yeah.
And the neighboring Bryant Park is also a setting.
Lincoln Center was for a while. It's been all of its. These reminded me of Stephen Sprouse, black and white graphic, sort of graffiti-like.
And he was known for using words and graffiti in art and in fashion and conceptual art. Well, it made for a nice pattern for Marc Jacobs.
Yeah, new logo go-go. And, there's op art. There's just a lot to look at.
And certainly overscale. That's obvious, right?
Yes.
You mentioned that these are basically, they are often described as unwearable. Is that what you're describing this as? Unwearable?
They are unwearable.
So they're concept pieces.
Concept pieces, and he has a new collection called Heaven that he's focusing on, but this is a conceptual collection that will only be available at Bergdorf Goodman.
Your other favorite place.
I love Bergdorf Goodman.
And then the use of these paillettes.
He was inspired by Courrèges, and yes, they're a bit oversized, but Courrèges did pretty big ones too.
And the paillettes are the round, disc-like, iridescent spheres, right? Or surfaces, right? Well, I was especially intrigued by those because they're used in a way that is fashion, accessory, and jewelry all at the same time.
There you go.
I appreciate it because I thought it is a metaphor, as is the interior space of the library, which is constructed of marble as wall and floor, creating a space. It's the same idea of materials being used to create something very cohesive and whole.
So now we're starting to see a little skin, a little bit of the caterpillar coming out, and There are a lot of these stoles dragging on the ground, and a lot of gloves, elbow length or higher. And as Vanessa Friedman also says, these are metaphor gloves. Oh, sorry, metaphor clothes. The story of reemergence told in crazy couture-scaled ski wear.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of the description of ski wear, but that is obvious, I guess, isn't it?
And that sort of brings back, the hood hasn't gone very far because there's the hoodie.
I like the music very much, the idea of the ebb tide and the flood tide, the receding and the proceeding, and the idea of the past. You know, we think of that as something we just need to get away from, but the past is always with us, and it's always receding at the same time as we move forward. And I think that's a metaphor for the show. The music is a great complement to the staging of the show.
And I love the eyelashes. I want some.
I think even the young man had eyelashes, I believe.
Yeah, there's some gender irreverence.
I wonder if Marc makes a paillette tie for men. That'd be kind of a fun concept piece, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Might be kind of hard to tie, but...
You know, those kind that just clip onto your shirt.
Marcy, this is Fashion Coffee Hour. We cannot say clip on.
This is a great op art piece that is wearable. You can wear that to a gala.
Marcy, do you think the head covering or face covering is going to be a staple or an element that will stick with us for quite some time in the future as a fashion accessory? Oddly enough.
Which one?
Just in general, the head covering and face covering or shawl around our head, is that going to be something that maybe before the pandemic seemed foreign to us in the Western world, that we're going to see that as something we're going to incorporate?
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I was seeing a lot of just caps when you were talking at first, which of course, that there he is.
Mr. Marc Jacobs himself in his ever stylish, overscale platform shoes. Thank you, Marc, and thank you, Marcy, for walking us through that. That was really intriguing and lovely, and I said hauntingly lovely, but I like a little hauntingly lovely now and then. Marcy, any important takeaways from the show for us today, besides the metaphor for where we are, somewhere in between the past and the future?
I think there are a lot of takeaways or ideas, inspiration for everyday clothes. For me, it's color. I'm combining it in new ways so I can wear it over and over again, as opposed to a red dress that you buy for a ball and you go get to wear it once.
Well, my takeaway was that you can't always tell a book by its cover, and sometimes you need to conceal even the very best ideas in order for them to be revealed. So we look forward to seeing everybody Monday evenings, as always, at 6 p.m. Central Time for Fashion Coffee Hour. Thank you so much.